Hey, it's your homie Howser, and today we're in Highland Park. This roughly 3.5 square mile neighborhood in Northeast LA has a lot of history, and today we're gonna visit a few of my favorite spots and learn their history here on Californiography.
It's full Howser.
So we had to start our day by visiting one of Highland Park's most unique landmarks, Chicken Boy. But who is Chicken Boy and how did he end up here? The Chicken Boy Fried Chicken restaurant was opened in 1969 on Broadway between 4th and 5th Streets in downtown LA. The restaurant decided that they needed something eye-catching to draw in customers, so they bought a statue from International Fiberglass Company of Venice, who manufactured roadside Paul Bunyan and Mufflerman statues for outdoor advertising. They had an artist customize the statue, having a chicken head replace the man's head and having the arms modified to hold a bucket of chicken instead of an axe. In the early 1970s, Amy Inouye came to Los Angeles to attend the LA Center of College and Design. One day while heading to the Grand Central Market, she spotted Chicken Boy and instantly felt a connection to the statue. It became her symbol of the city. She even called it the Statue of Liberty of Los Angeles. She would drive by often, on her own or to show him off to out-of-town visitors. One day in 1984, she saw a for lease sign on the restaurant, and her heart sank. What would happen to Chicken Boy? She called the leasing agent repeatedly until they basically told her, if you want him, come and get him. She spent the next several days trying to find someone to help remove and dismantle the 22-foot statue and put him in storage. She had saved Chicken Boy, but needed to find a new home for him. She was sure that he would be welcomed at one of the various LA art institutions, but nobody was interested in taking in Chicken Boy. One year, as a holiday gift to clients, Amy recreated t-shirts that had been sold at the restaurant. The next year, she made lapel pins and then watches. She then made a souvenir catalog in 1987 that included several Chicken Boy items. The catalog went viral before that was a thing, and helped her pay for his storage. At one point, she had 14,000 people on the catalog's mailing list. Chicken Boy even had a movie made about him in 1991, and had a Chicken Boy Day declared in 1993, but still, she couldn't find a place to display him. Then, in 1994, local radio station KZLA covered Chicken Boy's story and many listeners reached out. The Arco Plaza donated some space to display him, and several businesses helped in his restoration. And for the first time since he left his roost on top of the restaurant, Chicken Boy was whole again. He was on display for several weeks before the mall requested he be taken down, and back in the storage he went. Despite having several offers from different businesses to purchase Chicken Boy, Amy was determined that he stay in LA and be put back on a roof someday. She found that space at Highland Park in 2007, and she was able to get a grant to install him on the roof of her gallery. Chicken Boy had found a new place to roost. Today, he's one of Highland Park's most unique landmarks, catching the attention of drivers as they drive up Figueroa, much like he did when his roost was in downtown LA. So I'm a bit hungry now, so we're gonna pay a visit to one of my favorite spots to grab a sandwich and a soda, or 6, Galco's Soda Pop Stop. Try saying that 10 times fast. Galco's can trace its origin back to 1897 when the business began as a small Italian grocery store near the present-day intersection of Vermont Avenue and Pico Boulevard. The name Galco's comes from combining the first 2 letters of the 2 founders' last names, Galeotto and Cortopassi. They moved the store shortly after to Chinatown, and in 1940, Louis Nice became a partner in the grocery store and eventually took over the business and moved it to Highland Park in 1955, and continued to operate it as an Italian grocery store and deli. In the 1990s, sales at Galco's were dipping as larger chain stores took over distribution channels and prices for small groceries, including soda, went through the roof. John Nice, the second-generation owner, decided that in order to protest against the large soda companies not offering the same price as his larger competitors, he was going to stock his shelves with smaller brands of soda from independent bottlers. His bet paid off, and soon Galco's was the go-to spot for people to find sodas from their childhood or try something new. Business really took off after Howser visited in 2000. The store went from having 2 aisles dedicated to around 250 sodas to overhauling the whole business and switching to strictly beverages that now include over 700 different sodas, a variety of beers, and other alcoholic drinks. They also stock a wide variety of old-fashioned candies. And you can even make your own soda. One thing that's remained constant is the deli part of the store, which still serves up their famous Blockbusters. that got their name from boxing legend Rocky Marciano, who grabbed a sandwich during one of his visits to LA and said, "Wow, this is a real blockbuster." Galco's continues to flourish today thanks to their willingness to take risks, and I hope they continue to thrive for many generations to come. We're going to end our day here in Highland Park, paying a visit to a house that is as unique as its owner was, El Alisal, or the Lummis House. Charles Fletcher Lummis was certainly an interesting character. He dropped out of Harvard to become a poet. Then, while working for a newspaper in Cincinnati, he was offered a post with the Los Angeles Times and decided to walk to his new job. He walked over 3,500 miles in 143 days, sending weekly dispatches to the newspaper. It was during this trip that he became enamored with the American Southwest, which would influence much of his life's work. He arrived in Los Angeles in 1885 and was made city editor of the Times. It was one of many jobs that he would have during his life, including city librarian, ethnographer, and museum founder, among others. In the late 1890s, he bought 3 acres along the Arroyo Seco that he named El Alisal, or the Sycamore, after a grove of sycamores that were on the property. He built a small cabin on the land for his family to live in while he worked on building the main house. As I said before, Lummis was an interesting character, and he felt that his house should reflect his personality. He spent about a decade and a half building his home, using boulders for the nearby Arroyo Seco, cement, and even telephone poles. He was assisted in the construction by Pueblo Native Americans that he had befriended on his trips through the Southwest. The house is an 18-room Spanish colonial castle that reflects who Lummis was. The floors are made of concrete in order to make them easier to clean. He was notorious for throwing all-night parties that he called noises. The house has some low doorways due to Lummis's short stature. Details around the house reflect his interest in the American Southwest, especially Native American culture. His passion for Native American culture led him to found the Southwest Museum in 1907, which was the first museum in the city. Lummis passed away in his house in 1928, and his ashes were interred in a vault in one of the walls. His house was deeded to the Southwest Museum, then sold to the state of California in the 1940s, and then transferred to the city of Los Angeles in the 1970s. Today, the house is maintained by the city's Department of Recreation and Parks as a museum, and they maintain the grounds and garden of native plants. The Lummis House is not only a unique testament to its unique owner, but is also a welcome oasis from the hustle and bustle of the city. Thank you for joining me in today's trip to Highland Park to learn the history behind some of my favorite spots. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Until next time when we, because remember, it's you and me, continue to explore the history that could be found in this great big backyard of ours called California. All right, see you soon.